TEDxCabarete, Dominican Republic.
Life has its own way to challenge you. You prepare a talk about how to embrace the movement of life, how to find fluidity in this world. And at the moment you feel the most peaceful, nothing goes as planned. When I was 12, I almost drowned, fighting the current. I exhausted myself until my father arrived, told me to swim sideways, and opened my mind to the consciousness of a third way in life. This is a story I had planned to tell you about today. By Sunday morning, I was ready. Sunday was a beautiful day, very sunny, very windy. Perfect day for kite surfing. I packed my kites, my board, my pump, and head to La Boca, a perfect spot in this area of Dominican Republic. Water is sparkling. Dominican kids are jumping into the lagoon. I put on my gear, kite in the air, board in my hand, to the water. One of the Dominican kids asked me for a ride. I've never done that. But he is so enthusiastic, I say yes. Explain him how to hold one arm above my shoulder, one arm below. Ready? Nos fuimos. The feeling is ecstatic. Here I am, carrying a child on my back, flying across the water, surrounded by beauty. I feel joyful, grateful, blessed. We often see what we lacked, less what we accomplished. Could we take a moment so that we all see what we accomplished and celebrate it? I bring the kid back. There are 3 more in the line. I do the job. Then, time to practice. I'm obsessed with jumping higher. I carry an old wound, not having done water sports when I was younger. After my second child, I decided to kill this one. Going after your old dreams is a tricky thing. You never know when you're fully killing by listening to yourself, and we're just chasing a fantasy. Anyway, I prepare myself, smooth forward, jump. It's a nice fall. I feel proud. Second round. Prepare myself, jump, rotate, clap. At the moment I land, my knee got compressed in between the springs of the water towards the board and my own weight falling from above. I cannot move my leg anymore. I breathe, drag my body to the floor. As I wait in the hospital, I think about this speech. Suddenly, talking to you about drowning doesn't make sense anymore. There are moments when life doesn't go as planned. This is what I wanted to share with you today. Just I didn't know it could be so painfully anchored in my present moment. Did it happen to you? Did it happen to you? You have a plan, a vision of how things should go, and then no. Life decides otherwise. What do you do then? There's a deep belief in our society that there are mainly 2 ways to overcome the situation. First one, you protest. Get angry, complain, meaning you fight the system, going against the situation. The second one, you remain quiet, optimistic, resilient. You fight yourself, going against your own feeling. What if life wasn't about fighting? Could you please remember a moment of your life when you've been fighting? Like every day, you have this feeling deep inside, something is going wrong, but you keep going on. At work, in a relationship, within your family. Some years ago, I was a lawyer. I quit. Not because I didn't like law, I love law. But because I didn't like the type of person I was becoming being a lawyer. I arrived in this environment fresh, vibrance. Within a few months, I had lost my vitality. I would overreact, smile less, sleep agitated. Please raise your hand if you've ever seen a lawyer wearing a flower crown. You see, that's the problem. You don't see lawyers with flower crown. Why is it? Are we less clever with flowers on our head? Authenticity, vulnerability are the new thread. But what about real life? When do you feel safe being fully vulnerable today? There are many situations where it feels we're not allowed to be fully ourselves. That's what happened to me. I felt like in order to keep in, I had to hide the most luminous part of myself. What is the most luminous part of yourself? Does it feel you're offering it every day, at every moment to the world? The more I practiced mindfulness, the more I realized, in order to belong, we strip ourselves. We show the most social, convenient, comfortable side of ourselves to the others, the max, the people pleaser, and the rest we hide. Our singularity, sensitivity, weirdness, this is what I call the mermaid complex. Today, I could have faked it. I could have come to you, just smile, act as if nothing happened, as if it didn't do something to me, didn't change something in me. Give you the very old, foolish version of this talk. But by doing that, I would have done exactly the opposite of what I stand for. What is a mermaid for you? What do you think when you think about a mermaid? Usually, people say they're being half human, half aquatic. Mermaid embodies the confusion we make between split and hybrid, between beauty and perfect body, self-expression and seduction, knowledge and consciousness. How our culture divides what is complex and makes it feel incomplete. But if you lift your head, look towards ancestral culture, through Yemanja in Brazil, Mamiwata in West Africa, Sedna in North America, you see something else. They're not halves. They're mermaids, whole, unique. They symbolize the power of the ocean, the call of the depths, the flow of life. They are reminders of our own hybridity. Water is where we come from. What our bodies are made of 70%, where we spend our first 9 months. Where sensitivity can express itself. For water is the element of emotions, of setting go. It has been proven, water not only hydrates, it carries information. Through its molecular structure, it's called creators of life. The memory of where we come from, the memory of who we are. Our cells remember. Today, mermaids are returning into our culture. They appear in Harry Potter, in Wednesday, on Carol Jude's album. That's not a coincidence. As the Western system continues to divide between human and nature, the spirit of water calls for another relationship to water, life, to ourselves. In the legends, you have a boat. I think it represents the Western system. Very patriarchal, linear, dualistic, normative. And beside, you have the out of the box, the atypical, the visionaries. People who feel the urge to speak their truths, and yet, at the same time, crave to be integrated and accepted. Those are the mermaids. They incarnate paradigm shifts from conforming to alive. Since I understood the outlook, I decided to live ASAP, as siren as possible. Fluidity is not about miraculous solution. So every time I see a set, every time the space is closed, I lift my head, breathe, and ask myself, what would the mermaid do? What would this hybrid align in search of freedom, complex being do? And the bet is, usually I find an answer. The mermaid responds. She offers me her own way, the mermaid way, a way beyond labels, holding contradictions, reconciliating, a and instead of a or. I couldn't hold being a lawyer with preserving my mental health. Sometimes, not forcing is already a revolution. But years after, I found another way to stand for my conviction. I wrote a book and were flower pots. And you cannot imagine how many times I removed my flower crowns out of embarrassment. And then, one day, you realize no one cares. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Life is not about being remarkable. It's about being relevant. Indeed, being lost and embracing it has proven in my life to be much more joyful than pretending I had it all figured out. Not always comfortable, but deeply free. I found that it's like you're at a postcode and you see all the directional signs. Just in the mermaid way of thinking, you don't have to choose. You can explore, go one way, come back, shift, meander like the river, find shortcuts, build bridges. Now I collect testimonies of what it could mean to be a mermaid. I see people with great visions. Most of them feel stuck until they take a small step aside. What could be your first step aside? Let me help you. In your day-to-day life, what are the actions you take because it makes sense? What are the actions you take because everyone does the same? What are the actions you take because though it doesn't make sense, you haven't found another solution yet? In my dreams, you could be a lawyer, a doctor, a scientist, and wear a flower crown without being disqualified. Anywhere in the world. Maybe that's too thin, but that's the ambition. Not the crown, but authorizing yourself to show gentleness when hardness is the norm. Humility in a world of arrogance. Movement in a world of agitation. Joy where everything is gray. The good news is, I see the people embodying the change. Not rejecting the system, not dissolving into it either, but reclaiming our right to feel free, warm, and alive. Life is like a pattern. It repeats itself. What changes is how quick we shift from tension to reconciliation. Sometimes the shift means reinventing everything. Sometimes it is just about allowing yourself some rest in a world that never stopped running. And now, please tell me, next time you feel stuck, next time something doesn't go as you wish it would have gone, what will you do? Will you fight? Resist? Exhaust yourself? Or will you lift your head, breathe, ask yourself, what could the mermaid do?
Thank you for believing in the power of ideas. TEDxCabarete, Dominican Republic.